I'm often asked by executives, how can I get customer insight that is actionable? And then the supplementary follow-on question, how do I know that if the actions I'm taking in response to the customer insight are having the desired effect without having to wait 6 months for the next survey? These questions highlight the 4 main challenges which bog down the effectiveness of most customer experience research. Challenge number 1. It is expensive and infrequent. Surveys are usually conducted every 6 to 12 months, otherwise they become burdensome and expensive. And this means your customer research looks more like a photo album, when in reality business life is much more like a movie. Continuous capture facilitates continuous improvement, but for this you need a method which is easy for the customer and inexpensive for the organization. Challenge number 2. They take too long to complete. With an average of 30 questions per survey, most response rates are typically in the 20 to 25% range and usually completed by the customers whose voices are of the least interest to you. To drive participation rates above 75%, the survey has to be short, 2 minutes or less, and of obvious benefit to the customer. Challenge number 3. The customer sees no benefit. With most surveys, there is no obvious link for the customer between their input and an improvement in their customer experience. When customers ask, "What's in it for me?" it's often difficult to give a meaningful response. Customers should see a short and obvious cause and effect link between their input and an improvement in their customer experience. Challenge number 4. Reliance on experts. Most methods rely on one person or a small group to interpret your customer's data on your behalf. Leaving aside the problems of confirmation and interpretation bias, this approach is both expensive and places an extra layer between the customer and the executive. Here is a method I use with a number of clients which addresses some of the limitations I've just listed. When a customer wishes to record an experience, they boot up the app. The customer then rates the experience on a scale of 1 to 10 based on how likely they are to recommend you to a friend or colleague. This is the standard Net Promoter Score protocol. In this particular case, I will score my experience as a 9. I now need to record the narrative which supports my score, and I can do this in one of 3 ways. I can enter or dictate text, I can take a photograph, or I can record my story orally. I choose a method which I, the customer, prefer. Next, I have to tag the information. In other words, I, the customer, tell you, the business, how I want my feedback to be interpreted. And I do so by placing my experience within a short series of triads, the basis of which have been founded upon earlier customer research. As you can see, this method is open to global deployment at little extra cost because we can use the same framework employing different languages, including different scripts. The metadata remains unchanged. I also have the facility for adding demographic data for further analysis. After completing the input, the app closes and the data is saved via the cloud. The business can access the data 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and alerts can be put into place so that extreme scores or input from important customers is delivered immediately to key personnel. Data output is in 2 formats. The first is pictorial, as humans are excellent at observing patterns in data. Executives can see these patterns emerging, experiences that have been tagged by the customers themselves. Executives can then respond by saying, "I want more stories like this and fewer stories like that." A number of actions can then be put into place to achieve this end and monitored in real time to see their effectiveness. The details of each story are also available, including scores, narrative, location, images and recordings, which allows marketing managers to tie this input to CRM databases and segmentation models. The desire is to get customers to record their feedback at the height of delight or in the fire of frustration and not wait for some bland 6-monthly review. The philosophy here is to drive continuous improvement and to do so with customer involvement, but it also means you can have innovation at lower risk and at lower cost. I call this taking the guesswork out of growth.